why do you guys think that there are so many business owners that don't do what that one does, that don't look for the second opinion, that don't take the next step?
I think it's the same reason that people don't go to the doctor. Sometimes they're afraid to get the answer. They don't want to know. It's good enough. I'm alive. I generally feel okay, but I don't want to go find out what could be wrong. I am good enough. I think that's a pervasive mentality.
I think you're right, Jeremy, and it drives me crazy. I have to admit that it is a major problem in business today because business owners who don't take a proactive approach to IT put the whole business at risk. The fact that we're not admitting to the fact that we've got insufficient IT, by the fact that we don't take a proactive stance on those things is going to be the demise of business after business after business, or they're going to lose their top talent that's going to cost them millions in potential revenue. For an organization not to look at IT and say this is one of the most important investments that we make, it's how we drive productivity through the business, it is the future of my company, for them to sit back and go, I think it's good enough. That's an approach of the 1990s. In today's world, you have to take that proactive stance on IT, and you have to bring partners to the table that are willing to tell you, hey, you know what, your baby's ugly. It's going to be a little bit hard for us to get through this situation. We're going to have to identify the challenges in the environment. You're going to have to make the good investments in order for your business to be sustainable moving forward.
So I've got a story that goes along with that, an experience that it's been a few years now, but I got called in to a professional organization here in Springfield. It's a well-known organization, and they had an issue with a virus. They actually got hit with ransomware, locked about 70% of the files on their network. They were freaking out. It was going to be the end of them. And I went in and spent about 2 days solid getting it fixed. We ended up having to pay the ransom because they did not have good backups. They just weren't in a good place. When they talked afterwards about hiring JMark or maybe bringing JMark on to help them prevent this in the future, I had really in-depth conversations with the owners about what it means to look at things proactively and what it means to invest in IT rather than just putting the minimal to it. And usually that's a pretty easy conversation to have with somebody who's just been compromised. However, we did a walk around the business, and I pointed out one thing to them that made me realize that they weren't a company we wanted to partner with. Their IT room was basically an office, and they had their servers sitting out on a table, and there was a sprinkler right above it, a normal sprinkler head. And I said, hey, this is your server room. If somebody burns popcorn in the break room, you could be out of business. You need to put either halon or at least disable this particular sprinkler head in this office. And they're like, well, why? And I explained to them what the risk was. I came back the next day and swear to goodness, they had taken a PGA golf umbrella and duct taped it to the side of the table to cover the equipment. That way, okay, it's good enough now. If somebody burns popcorn, our servers aren't going to get flooded. And I realized right then that these folks weren't going to see it. They weren't going to be a good partner for us because they're never going to realize that IT takes a little bit of forward thought and not just duct tape and an umbrella.